Now, this brings us immediately to the second insight that I want to point out, which is that Martin Luther King was really a master at seeing the world as it is, but finding a perspective of the world as it is that gives inspiration and hope. And that's sort of the essence of this strange statement that, and in the first clip, this is how he moves on. That he says that I would like to live in the present time, despite seeing all of the chaos and the confusion and the fact that the world is all messed up at the moment. He anyway wants to live now. And in the first clip, he gives a couple of arguments for why that is the case. And we will now hear a few more, which is from his own life when they have been able to overcome police brutality.
Bull Connor next would say, turn the fire hoses on. And as I said to you the other night, Bull Connor didn't know history. He knew a kind of physics that somehow didn't relate to the trans-physics that we knew about. And that was the fact that there was a certain kind of fire that no water could put out. And we went before the fire hoses. We had known water. If we were Baptists or some other denominations, we had been immersed. If we were Methodists and some others, we had been sprinkled, but we knew water. That couldn't stop us.
And this brings us immediately to the next insight, which is that he's using lots of images and analogies and stories, which somehow takes the situation from the sort of apparent direct view of it to some imagery where you see the same thing, but you get a completely different feeling of the situation. So instead of seeing police brutality and wanting to fight back and hurt the police, he says that, well, they only have water, but we have a fire that no water can put out. And anyway, we have as Christians, which most of them were, we have been immersed in water because of the baptism. And this is a typical usage of Martin Luther King, that he somehow removes the situation from the one where it is to a different feeling. So here you sort of get the feeling that I also want to evoke this fire that no water can put out. It seems cool. I want to do that as well. And he uses many such images in his speeches, but I want to point you to two more. And one of them you already heard. That was actually the first argument after he said his strange statement. He said, but I know somehow that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. Which I think is a really beautiful imagery, which turns everything into a completely different place somehow. And the second example that I want to give to you is when he wants to make a point. So here he wants to make the point that we need to stay together, and then he points to Pharaoh's favorite formula, and let's just hear him talk about it.
Now, what does all of this mean in this great period of history? It means that we've got to stay together. We've got to stay together and maintain unity. You know, whenever Pharaoh wanted to prolong the period of slavery in Egypt, he had a favorite formula for doing it. What was that? He kept the slaves fighting among themselves. But whenever the slaves get together, something happens in Pharaoh's court, and he cannot hold the slaves in slavery. When the slaves get together, that's the beginning of getting out of slavery.